I'm a little heavy on Trump today, but I gotta be, because this story is wacky. This story is crazy. Tomorrow, no Trump stories. But I had to do this today. So apparently, Trump, because he refuses to use a secure line, like the Chinese and the Russians are just like listening to Trump's calls. When President Trump calls old friends on one of his iPhones to gossip, gripe, or solicit their latest take on how he is doing, American intelligence reports indicate that Chinese spies are often listening and putting to use invaluable insights into how to best work the president and affect administration policy, current and former American officials say. Mr. Trump's aides have repeatedly warned him that his cell phone calls are not secure, and they have told him that Russian spies are routinely eavesdropping on the calls as well. But aides say the voluble president, who has been pressured into using his secure White House landlines more often these days, has still refused to give up his iPhones. White House officials say they can only hope he refrains from discussing classified information when he is on them. Mr. Trump's use of his iPhones was detailed by several current and former officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity so they could discuss classified intelligence and sensitive security arrangements. The officials said they were doing so not to undermine Mr. Trump, but out of frustration with what they considered the president's casual approach to electronic security. American spy agencies, the officials said, had learned that China and Russia were eavesdropping on the president's cell phone calls from human sources inside foreign governments and intercepting communications between foreign officials. On Thursday morning, Mr. Trump said this article was so wrong and asserted that he used only government phones and only one seldom used government cell phone. He did not claim there were other factual errors in the New York Times reportings. The current and former officials said they have also determined that China is seeking to use what it's learning from the calls, how Mr. Trump thinks, if he thinks, what arguments tend to sway him and to whom he is inclined to listen, to keep a trade war with the United States from escalating further. In what amounts to a marriage of lobbying and espionage, the Chinese have pieced together a list of the people with whom Mr. Trump regularly speaks in hopes of using them to influence the president. Oh my God. Oh my God. You just can't make this up. Can you imagine the Chinese just sitting there as Trump is like bitching about CNN on the phone? And by the way, we have to be consistent. I had a big problem with Hillary Clinton using a private email server and passing along classified information through unsecured means. Well, you got to be consistent. Trump is doing the same thing, honestly, almost, I think it's worse. He's the president using his iPhone, which is not secure. But this president knows more. I mean, it is worse. It is worse. Because there is no doubt in my mind that Trump is talking about classified information on his cell phone. Because Trump doesn't care about his duties as commander-in-chief. He cares about keeping this reality TV show going. So there's no doubt in my mind. That he is sitting there talking about whatever he wants to talk about as far as Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Pakistan, Russia, Syria. And you know, I usually look at New York Times reports with a grain of salt, but I read it twice, and I'm pretty confident it's true, because I'm pretty confident it's being leaked within his White House, because they're kind of scared shitless at what this man, who's just totally impulsive and reckless, might be saying. If it was only about Russia, I would think it's a media-created narrative. But the fact that they're throwing in China, that scares me, because China owns the United States at this point. Cheryl says voting works better than guns. Couldn't agree more with you, Cheryl. Scary business. NPC says, Jordan going full-blown NPC with this video. I wish I knew what NPC meant. I'm down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. But NPC? Notary says, oh, wow, regarding Trump's iPhone, Apple's refusal to decrypt the phone for the FBI might not have been altruistic as they seem to suggest. Too effing funny. Misunderstand much? School, you're being obtuse. Cell phones and their apps suck at security. Like, the bottom line is, Donald Trump, in an average 5-minute phone call, if he even has that attention span, could be giving away really, really critical, important information that China or Russia could be using, or China and Russia could be selling that information to other countries. So, it's not a joke. Yeah, it might be funny, like Trump sitting there with his cheeseburger and Diet Coke, because apparently that's his favorite meal. But China and Russia, they do spy. So does the United States. We're tapped into, we're hacking people's phones all over the world, as WikiLeaks has shown. So we're hypocrites anyway, this whole Russian hacking. We've done more hacking than any country known to man. Remember, the CIA is capitalism's invisible army. Capitalism's invisible army. I wish I could take credit. I saw that in Oliver Stone's documentary series. Endo says, if Russia and China records Trump, Trump is already compromised. I'd say Trump is compromised based on his money laundering through the Russian mafia. That's what I think Robert Mueller is actually looking into. Not this, movie-esque, Rachel Maddow-inspired collusion. So, folks, you got a president who, after bombs were sent to CNN, former presidents, sitting congresspeople, basically made it about him and how people shouldn't be comparing him to Hitler and the media has to be nicer to him. And you have a president sitting there stuffing his face with cheeseburgers, Diet Coke, and talking on his cell phone while China and Russia giggle along at what he's saying. Enjoy life while it lasts. So, before I end today, a few reminders here. We're going live Sunday. Statuscoup.com launches. I'm going to be live at noon Eastern. We'll have some original reporting on the site. We'll have some videos. We'll have a membership section. I want to do a Q&A with you, answer your questions, comments, concerns. We're going to be pushing the GoFundMe, which is now at $13,810. So we really want to get to $15,000 by the end of October. So hopefully between tomorrow's live stream and then Sunday's live stream, we can get to $15,000. Thank you so much. 236 people have contributed. Jen and I are definitely hitting the field next week. Actually, I shouldn't say definitely next. It's either end of next week or early the week after, but we're definitely hitting the field. Important story to show you. We can't wait to get that out there, and we're hitting the field because of your contributions. You supply, we provide. That's how this works.